Real crime may be fascinating for some, but it is traumatic for the families of the victims. Currently, Dahmer Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer story, is one of the most popular Netflix series. The murders committed by Jeffrey Dahmer in the 1980s and 1990s on the LGBTQ men of color on whom he preyed have intrigued and terrified for the whole globe. Despite the show's strong ratings and popularity online, it has frequently faced criticism for a number of reasons. Let's dive deep into the video and see what all these things that Netflix got wrong about the Jeffrey Dahmer. Number 5. During the trial, Dahmer did not wear his spectacles. Serial murderer Jeffrey Dahmer was apprehended on July 22, 1991 when one of his would-be captives, Tracy Edwards, fled from Dahmer's apartment. The Milwaukee-based killer reportedly started murdering back in 1978. Despite the fact that Dahmer frequently faced sexual assault charges, he was able to hide his killings for many years. In the end, he murdered 17 men during a 13-year period. However, as the Crime Museum notes, Dahmer's notoriety was more for the way he dismembered the bodies of his victims than for the quantity of people he murdered. According to Crime Plus Investigation UK, Dahmer committed cannibalism and necrophilia. By injecting acid into the skulls of his victims, he also tried to turn them into zombies. Most of Dahmer's victims were homosexual males who belonged to racial minorities. This is why there has never been a stronger debate. the debate was over Dahmer's case. Many people think the reason he got away with his atrocities was because of the systematic prejudice. Large aviator-style spectacles with a metal rim were a signature of Dahmer's. In September of 1991, as Dahmer's trial got underway, he didn't wear his famed spectacles. It comes out that he did this deliberately because he didn't want to face his victims' families in the eyes. He can't see people since he isn't wearing glasses. He becomes anxious. Shari, his stepmother, said at the time to Inside Edition. Despite this, Peters is shown in the show wearing the spectacles throughout the whole trial. Number 4. Glenda Cleveland's reality. Glenda Cleveland, who was portrayed by Niecy Nash in the show, did not truly reside at the Oxford apartments. She lived in a separate apartment complex next to Oxford Block. Pamela Bass, who really did reside in the Oxford apartments and communicated with Dahmer, is better portrayed by Nash's character. She even accepted his lunch because she thought he was nice and approachable, without suspecting anything. Glenda has been constantly seen through the series attempting to alert local police authorities to the crimes taking place in apartment 213, where Dahmer is sexually abusing, strangling, and decapitating his victims. The most terrifying scenes in the episode take place off-screen, as heard via the vents that connects the adjacent flats, when Nash's Glenda is unable to sleep at the night due to the sounds of drill sawing and screams echoing. Number 3. What happened to Konorak Synthosophone? Yeah, that's a very hard name. The plot for Konorak Synthosophone, a 14-year-old whom Dahmer tested his technique of drilling a hole into human heads and trying to fill it with hydraulic acid in an effort to create a kind of lifeless sex zombie, is undoubtedly the most horrifying and notorious of Dahmer's killings. Dahmer's strategy didn't work right away since he discovered Synthosophone bewildered and staggering on the street when he went outside to get more beer. John Belsergard and Joseph Gabrish, the two police officers who located Dahmer, were persuaded by Dahmer that Synthosophone was his live-in partner, and that his condition was the consequence of a simple personal dispute. Synthosophone was then led back to Dahmer's flat, where he was fatally acid-injected once more in the skull before having his corpse dismembered and his head placed in the freezer. All of that is regrettably true. Officers Balserzak and Garbish never win an Officer of the Year award, despite what was implied in the last episode. They were suspended. Number 2. Dahmer's jogger story. Through the transition process, the Jeffrey Dahmer story left out important aspects concerning Dahmer's crimes. While depicting real-life events in, the unavoidable thing, of course, some facts left out offer a more in-depth look at the cannibal killer. The portrayal of the jogger Dahmer stalks is a perfect example. Dahmer did routinely study the runner, getting infatuated with the man's naked chest, and he would frequently hide in order to see him. He chooses to assault him, which he later describes as his first genuine attempt at violence. Dahmer waits with a baseball bat, but unlike in the series, the jogger never shows up. Number 1. Dahmer didn't kill Dean Vaughn. Dean Vaughn is introduced in episode 7 of the program, which is mostly centered on Glenda Cleveland. We stepped into the apartment complex where Jeffrey Dahmer lived and talked to Glenda about the individuals in the tower. She warned him to be wary of some of the people present, and we then watched Dean meet Jeffrey. Dean Vaughn is alleged to have gone missing soon after. Glenda informed authorities that the last time she saw Dean, he was talking to Dahmer, He was just 28 years old when he was discovered strangled in his flat, which is located in the same building as Dahmer's. Many people believe Dean Vaughn was one of Jeffrey's victims, since he vanished immediately after speaking with him. Dean was black and young, two characteristics that are common among many of Dahmer's victims. Dahmer acknowledged killing 17 boys and men after being apprehended, but Vaughn was not one of them. The investigation is still open despite Jeffrey's denial of any connection to his murder. That's the end. I hope you enjoyed the video, then give it a big thumbs up, subscribe to our channel and ring the notification bell button for more awesome videos just like this one. Have you watched the series? What are your thoughts about his heinous murders? We would love to hear your feedback. Feel free to mention anything that you know in the comment section. Thanks for watching.